welcome back to another episode of Fear Fuel. Thank you for sticking with us. Now today we're going to be talking about an urban legend from Japan known as Jeon. I do not claim to be saying that word correctly in any form, but that's going to be my best go. Now that roughly translates into curse grudge, and you can all probably already tell by now that it is for the movie The Grudge, as well as the original in Japan known as Jeon. Now, it is a curse that happens if you die in a violent way. It is said that you will come back as a vengeful ghost. So that's basically what the curse is in a whole. Now, there are a lot of different variations of it, because that goes for like anybody who dies in a way like that. But the one that the movies are based on are of a true life event. Is that right?
Yeah.
Of a girl named Kiyako.
We're trying here.
Hang in there with us. I am not Japanese, no matter how much I wish I was. Now, she had a really rough past growing up. She was very neglected, and when she became an adult, she was married and had a son. Now, her husband read her diary and assumed that she was cheating on him, and I guess his rational idea to handle it was to stab her repeatedly.
Murder.
Yep. And this was all done in front of their son. Now, the stabbing didn't kill her. So he even went further to snap her neck. And even that didn't kill her. It just left her paralyzed. And that's where, if you've seen the movies where they make the sound, so she wasn't able to speak or anything. That was all that was able to come out while she was still living. Now, in this time, he also drowned the son in their bathtub with his pet cat. That really sucks.
Feel almost more sad for the cat than the son. The cat didn't have anything to do with it.
Poor cat. Why did he get dragged into everything? So he shoved them into, I think the wife got shoved into a closet, and the wife got shoved into the attic, the boy got shoved into a closet. They all died in the end, and now she eventually comes back. I mean, he goes off and does more, but she comes back and murders him by strangling him with her hair, which I think is really cool.
Well, my favorite part about that is that the cops thought it was suicide.
Yeah, they're like, this seems, he did himself.
Yeah, let's go.
So she killed him, and then the curse kind of stayed in the house. And, that's what influences today. If you were to go to the house, I mean, it's demolished, but in the time that it was still standing, if you went there, things would happen, right?
Exactly. And not only with that, along with the curse of this, oftentimes their poor pet cat was seen in advance before anything happened, kind of almost as a warning of your coming danger. Now, do people pick up on it? Not so much. But what happened after that is either people would be, chased and murdered by Kyoko, the wife, or the son. It was kind of either or. But it was inevitable. No matter how far you got away, there really was no geological limits.
I guess when you're murdered that intensely, you're just out for blood from everybody, so nobody's safe.
Exactly. But the real catcher is no matter who stayed there, how many people stayed there, the real goal of this curse, is that it's a never-ending cycle. So that person goes on, and their spirit turns vengeful, and it kind of just goes in this terrible, never-ending cycle.
So this curse actually brought along quite a few different films. Now, it started in Japan with the Jeon movies. I'm probably destroying that word,
but you're really trying.
I'm doing my best. And now I know they had a few, and then it was remastered and remade for America and English speakers, because I guess it was just such a huge hit. And while we were researching, I knew there were a couple different variations of the movie, but we came to find there are 15? It's 11 or 15?
So there's 11 currently out, but as y'all are, I'm sure, aware, there's actually one coming out on January 2nd. new one.
I'm really excited about that.
We're hyped.
I think I'm probably really excited about it because I was thinking about this recently. It's not something I think about a lot, but when I saw that The Grudge was being remade, it like triggered something in me. And I remember being like a preteen. The Grudge is one of the first movies I remember going to the theater and seeing. And you know, it was that one and The Ring, and those two movies really came together and influenced who I am today. I don't feel like if it was for those two movies, I mean, I don't know, who knows. But they really influenced me in being, you know, into horror and, you know, haunted houses and just spooky things in general. So it holds a really special place in my heart. Because when I saw the remake was coming, I was flooded with all these emotions of remembering how much I loved it when I was younger. So I'm really excited.
I know I was too young to go see it in theaters. I think I was only about like 8 or 9 when it came out.
Thanks for aging me.
I'm sorry. I was in elementary school, I'll leave it at that. But it was the first horror movie I ever saw.
Nice.
Yeah, it absolutely terrified me. You know, I watched it at my friend's house, and her family, they all have the long black hair. So needless to say, I was kind of petrified.
That sounds like a setup. You're like,
right?
Invite your American friend over and we'll watch that movie about long-haired Asians.
Oh my God, it was so bad. Their whole family was a very Japanese kind of lineage. And I love their dad, but their dad was this very sweet, white, bald dude. And I loved him because he had no long black hair to torment me. Because they all did. They all continued to torment me. That whole night I stayed over, and the next morning I went back to my parents' house, and I was like, oh, thank God. Everybody here is like short hair. It's all brown. Nobody knows what happened to me last night. Y'all aren't going to scare the crap out of me.
That sounds like my kind of family. I want to meet these people. They
were real great.
I think I'm more so excited about that than I am the movie. It's just really awesome.
My traumatizing childhood.
Yeah.
I love it. But you know what? That's what we're here for.
Yeah. So, like Krista said, we are going to go see the new movie. So stay tuned because we're going to tell you what we think. I have really high hopes.
We're so excited.
I have really, really high hopes. The trailers and the promotions look really good. So
yeah, I'm almost a little scared right now. You know, this is going to be my first time actually seeing any of the Grudges in theater.
That's awesome.
So it's almost like it's going to be a whole new experience for me, and I don't know if I'm ready for it.
I am. I'm ready for it. I'm ready to see you be scared.
Okay.
I'm excited.
She'll be holding my hand.
You know it.
Hey guys, so we just went and saw The Grudge in theaters, and
We saw it.
we saw it.
Now, okay. Negativity is not something we want to focus on our channel. And like going in, Krista and I were like super hyped.
So hyped.
But we also don't want to like lie.
We were disappointed.
Very, very, very disappointed. I feel like the movie never really got started. By the time the credits started rolling, I'm just like, and the movie is gonna start now. Like,
I was honestly so confused. It's one of those movies that does time jumps, so like it goes into the past and then focuses on one family, and then it goes back to the present, and then it goes back and focuses on a different family, and it like jumps between like 4 different families.
and like that works in other movies, but I don't think I've yet to seen it work well in horror movies. Correct me if I'm wrong, but one thing is for sure, it did not work in this movie. Like, I'm going to be scared. I don't want to decipher who I'm looking at and when I'm looking at and all that stuff. Maybe it's also my fault because I hyped myself up a lot. I know we talked about like how this movie was like kind of iconic to me, and like The Grudge is one of the first ones I remember seeing myself as a teenager. Yep. And maybe I was just expecting too much, but just overly disappointed. I don't feel like I mean, if they didn't want to remake the movie, that's okay. But they didn't pull the things from the original movies that I really needed. One of those things being the sound. I'm a little disappointed about the sound. We all know.
It was real quick, if they did it at all.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe my standards are just too high for The Grudge. Maybe I'm just being a big old baby, but
maybe we just gotta go rewatch all the other ones.
Maybe. I don't know.
Check ourselves.
Overall, it it just wasn't good. I mean, I think we're good at finding redeeming qualities about most anything, but this movie,
it was a rough one.
I just don't know what to say.
I mean, I will say it did have some relatively good jump scares. Those all kind of seemed towards the beginning. Once the end kind of started going, you know, there wasn't too much of that.
The climax, like usually the climax like shoots way up, but this one just kind of, it was like, oh, there it is, and then we were done.
I like missed it.
Yeah, thinking back, I'm just like, where was it?
I mean, I want to say it was at one part, but I don't want to give anything away to you guys yet. For those of you who haven't seen it,
obviously, we want you to form your own opinions.
I will say one good thing about the movie is it does kind of talk about, you know, the curse itself.
Yes, which is nice. It's a nice little touch that they sprinkled in there.
It is. And the movie does start out at, you know, the original location.
Which I think we were all expecting.
Exactly. But then it kind of shows how, you know, like we were saying earlier, no geological limits. Mm-hmm. It travels back to the U.S. And this is now kind of like the United States portion of the Grudge. So, I mean, there's that.
I really wish that wasn't the best part of it, but overall, you know, form your own opinions. It's going to be a no from us. Like,
I really, really wish it was. I wish we could have came out of there saying we loved it.
I wanted to love it so bad.
When the credits started rolling, we were just kind of sitting there like, oh, yeah, we're done.
I think we watched most of the credits just like in disbelief. We were like, that's not it.
Well, I thought it was kind of be like the Avengers movies.
Yeah.
Where like at the end they're like, whoop.
No, there was nothing.
No.
If anything, do yourself a favor and wait till it's at Redbox. But
yeah,
don't set your hopes as high as we did.
I mean, I honestly think the best part about seeing the movie was the seat warmers and the chairs we had.
Hey.
Those were nice. So, I mean, there's one side.
Gotta find a positive somewhere. But thanks for tuning in, guys. Hopefully next movie we see won't be a bust. Let's hope. So stay tuned, and we'll bring you some more every Thursday. So
We'll
thanks, guys.
See you next week.
Bye.